Hey, Stuart, what's going on with you today?
Hey, I'm here waiting for more disclosure news. Could be kind of imminent now. I know, and as well as you know, that the president's recently come out and talked about some possible UAP disclosure, and a former president came out talking about it too. And my hopes aren't exactly high for that result, but I'm still interested to hear what they got to say.
Yeah, okay, so we got to be direct. So former President Obama said in a podcast interview, for those who haven't heard yet,
the following program is presented for general information, education and entertainment purposes only and is not intended to be advice of any kind. The content, views, thoughts and opinions expressed in this program are those of the individuals involved. The use of information on this program is at the user's own discretion.
That he was at the end of the podcast interview, the guy's like, rapid fire, aliens, are they real? And Obama said, yes, they're real, but I haven't seen any. Okay, why the F did he just say that then? If he hasn't seen any, how the hell does he know they're real? That's number one. Number two, what's the motivation? Why, are we... I don't get political, and I don't care about Jeffrey Epstein, whether he's alive or dead or anything, because nothing ever happens with any of those alleged people. Now, however, people are starting to get arrested who are on the loose. So maybe that's the motivation of, holy shit, we're all going to get arrested, bring out the aliens. Maybe. But anyway... I'm sorry to diverge like that, but no, seriously, this is who I am. So y'all like it or not. So, but and the channeling class might have something to do with this too, so we can get into that in a second. But so then somebody asked President Trump about President Obama's statements, and Trump's response was, "Oh yeah, he shouldn't be talking about that. That's classified stuff. He should not be saying that." Okay. Why does Trump say these things? What the F is that, right? So, but at the end of the day, I do believe it's all scripted and it's all smoke and mirrors. I expect nothing at all to become of it. And if anything does become of it, it's going to be this. Mark my words. I'm going to make a prediction. I don't predict anything, but I'm going to predict this. First of all, we don't know when it's ever going to happen, if it's going to happen, because Trump didn't give any timeline. He's like, I'm going to direct people to do this thing. Okay, great. When? What's the deadline? We don't have that. So I'm guessing they're hoping everyone just forgets about it. But let's say it doesn't, right? And it comes out, they will say the same thing they've always said. There is no evidence that there is anything of an extraterrestrial nature. End sentence, full stop. And I do believe that might actually be true.
Wow. I see what you're saying. It could be a truthful statement finally coming from an official source.
Yes. But where they stop short is they say nothing about intradimensional, extratemporal, or native to Earth. Those are other possibilities that I do believe are more likely than extraterrestrial. So they can... to use George Knapp, who is, I'd never met him, but he's, I do still respect him at this point. But he used the word salad at one point. And that's true. They will just use their same word salad, and they will give you a half truth. So I expect nothing to become of any of these things that are other podcasters are rolling about and chasing the headlines. Chopping at the bit. We gotta get views. Blah, blah, blah. That's another thing that just we've been doing this, man. I now understand how media works and social media works. Like, you think a lot of these podcasters are like your neighbors, or they look like your next door neighbors. They're not. They're actors. They're professional journalists. Like, there's people behind. Like, holy shit, this is wild.
That's interesting. Wow. Okay, now how does this channeling class play into all this?
So I feel like I'm more free. I don't know if you're noticing anything or not like that. But
good. I like that.
Yeah. So it's gotten me to realize, like, some of the rant that I just went on, it's got me to realize that too. And I might actually work on a presentation, perhaps, of that to like go through the years and the decades of this is the first shape that we ever observed, and how the shapes have transformed themselves, and how they've gone from extremely physical to pretty damn non-physical, and how in society at large, like when I was a kid, everything was very solid and heavy, and now everything is very lightweight, and almost everything is freaking wireless. So it's like the phenomenon is morphine. It's always ahead of where we are, and it's more like it's becoming more non-physical, and so are we.
That's very interesting, because we're on that kind of trajectory of becoming more virtual, aren't we? And that phenomena is along with us.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like an aha moment in a way. I don't know.
All right. Well, where do you want to go from here? Well, I don't mean just with this discussion, but with the channel.
Well, welcome one and all, wherever and whenever you may be. This is Universal Disclosure, meeting the moment. My name is Mike, an active UFO field investigator in Southern California, with my friend and co-host,
Reverend Stu, in Melbourne, Australia.
And I'm not sure where we're going to go with this, Stuart. I don't feel compelled to put something out on a regular basis just for the sake of a schedule, first and foremost. And also, I've decided that I'm not likely to be going to any of these UFO conferences, with the exception of the MUFON Symposium probably, but not really interested in going to any of those other ones, because they're just more commercial in nature. And what I just said, it's all about profiting. And when you look into the topic of UFO, ET, extraterrestrial, space brothers, whatever label you need to call them, you realize that that's not what this is at all. This is the complete opposite of that. And
well, you know what? I actually like this, because I really want to go for the truth anyway. So I want to keep going in this direction. It's of authenticity and just not messing around. I like it, Mike.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that, because since I'm in this ranty mode of here's the real Mike, most people don't want the truth.
Yeah.
And it's not that they can't handle the truth. They just don't want the truth. Okay?
Yes.
No, for real.
Yeah, I know.
They say they do, but when you look at our channel, for example, when we started out, we got a good number of views and comments, and all the stuff was people were there and they were loving it. And then as we progressed the conversation, because we weren't storytellers, and we're not just throwing all kinds of visual stuff in front of you, we're actually having real conversations that matter. And at one point you yourself said oh yeah, that's not what I want. You sort of paraphrase other people who can you say that again, man? Say that again.
Well, I've seen this in the spiritual paradigm too. So people go seeking for knowledge, and then when they get it, they're like, oh no, this isn't what I want, and they go running back to where they were before. I've seen it many times.
There it is. There you go. So yeah, I wasn't expecting to be where I am right now, actually. But that's where the data took me. And I just have to be honest with myself and everything that I see. When I go out into the world, which isn't all the time, but when I do, I look around, and always in the back of my mind is how are all these people that I'm observing going to react to the big announcement of UFO disclosure? And I always come to the same conclusion: these people that I'm looking at, they will melt. They're not, it's just not going to go well. So,
Mike, I'm expecting another financial crash soon. I think that's going to happen before any disclosure.
Well, maybe. That would, if there was a disclosure, that would be part of it. There would be a financial crash without question. The question becomes how long it would be. But if I don't necessarily think there's going to be another financial crash without disclosure. Although, that's a whole nother topic. I could actually intelligently talk about that for quite a while, but we'll just I'll just leave it at that.
I'm hearing whispers on that topic completely separate to this disclosure topic, and I'm thinking that's my gut feeling is that's going to happen before any disclosure.
Well, if it were to happen first, then that would just kick disclosure down the road. But I honestly don't think disclosure is ever going to happen the way that people want or expect it to happen. And I'm sorry. That's just my opinion, but that's my belief now after all of this stuff that we've been talking about.
Yeah, I agree, actually, because first of all, most people don't want it, even if they say they do. So it's the most risky political strategy you can imagine, telling people things they don't want to hear and then subsequently getting upset with you.
Yeah, I do believe. So here's the thing. Like, there are, I don't know, it's almost 8 billion people in the world. And of those, I don't know how many Americans there are, but it's the last I heard, it's just like, I don't know if it was 45 or 60% of Americans believe, at least in the possibility of, other. I don't want to use the word term non-human intelligence. Also, UAP, I don't think I'm ever going to say that again in my life. Non-human intelligence, I'm not going to use that word in my life either. That is more bullshit. That is, they're trying to run a new narrative. It's almost like UFOs became passé, so now let's bring that back out because of the psychological military operation. And, at the end of the day, I was bequeathed a small library of books from the early days, early 1950s, from a very well-known, like one of the original OG ufologists, if you will. Wow. And, all the books are signed by the authors and everything. And right from the start, they're telling stories about, the flying saucers come down and, the aliens come out, but they look very human in nature. And then there's esoteric books in them as well. And right from day one, Stuart, the people who were talking about it and researching it instantly went into spirituality and esoteric stuff.
Wow. Oh, that's interesting. Wow.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of people, especially the younger generation, you have no clue about because it's been whitewashed and now there's this new thing coming out. So that's why, I don't know. Like, maybe we don't even put this out, or maybe this is the thing that goes viral. But can you feel the energy that I've got?
Yeah.
Because I'm clearly I like this topic a lot, but I'm so over all of the idiots out there who are just trying to make a buck on it.
That's a revelation to me, Mike, about the early pioneers of ufology talking more in terms of spirituality, because I haven't read some of those earlier accounts. Wow, that's a big one for me. Thank you.
I don't remember the author who I just got introduced to from that same time frame. But the main one, Leonard Wannell, wrote Wheels Within Wheels and Points Beyond. And that actually came out of an investigation that I did with somebody. I wish I could tell you about that investigation. But point is, when talking to somebody who saw something phenomenal, the book sort of emerged, and I was able to find a recreated a copy, essentially, but a copy of the original. And that guy was in the Army in the 1950s, and he was into it's oh my God, nothing's new at all. Nothing's new.
Oh, wow. Okay, I think I know what you're going to say there. Was there a Freemasonry aspect to it and sort of a cult layer?
I don't know. There wasn't Freemasonry per se, but there was absolutely a cult. He was talking about leaving his body multiple times for a long ass time.
Wow.
And like it's ironic to me that when you go to the root of everything. So if you're a podcaster out there who's listening to this, and I do think that there are some larger channels or producers of them that who listen, look into this stuff, folks, and pump this out. Pump out the real story from what happened in the 1950s and the people who started looking into this, because that's where it is. That's what it is. Everything that's coming out now, I don't believe any really of these folks who former intelligence, like whatever. You're a professional liar. Why should I listen to you?
Okay, hang on, Mike. What about these people talking about psionics and Enochian magic? Are they trying to get us back on the original track?
Perhaps. Okay, so I shouldn't paint the wide brush of all of them, right? But there's a motivation there as well. And what is their motivation? So I think that you might be talking, referencing Jake Barber, who is a guy who sort of comes out of nowhere, makes this really big splash, and then disappears. And I'm not trying to be like a dick about it, but that's what happened. And from what I've heard, at one point, he said, like, we've opened Pandora's box, or we should not continue to do this thing. So that makes me wonder, like, how much experience or knowledge did he even have before he decided to try to go to a venture capital company to get a shit ton of money to prove to the world that we can summon in the physical UFO craft. And then when they do that, they are having, potential, almost catastrophic problems with that.
Okay, that's making some sense, because that's like the sorcerer's apprentice archetype, about calling in things you don't know how to stop. It also ties in with some things I've heard Whitley Strieber talk about. Essentially, the more we focus on the issue and the phenomena, the more it's going to enter our world. That makes sense too.
Yeah. All right, that's actually a great transition. Like I just took a channeling class. I just finished up a channeling class.
Oh, wow. Yes.
I mean, wow. I got instant confirmation that that's a thing. Every person out there can channel. So now we're talking, psionics is a new term, but it's really just a new term, which is also why I'm suspect. Like, we used to call it psychic or
yes,
channeler.
It's been rebranded.
Yeah, it's the same damn thing. Okay. And it's real. The very first time I've attempted it, I got instant confirmation that there's something there. Now, I'm not going to say I'm a master channeler. It takes practice, just like anything does. But, I did get my confirmation that there's something to that. And that's what sort of opened me up to, because that all happened right around the time that the YouTube channel got attacked, ironically enough.
Wow. Okay, now I'm starting to understand where you're heading here. Oh, right. We start shifting into what might be a real definition of the phenomena and start to understand, then boom, we must shut you down.
I know that sounds potentially like, I don't give a flying what it sounds like. Honestly, yes. I don't. It's what happened, okay? Yeah, and it happens to other people as well. And we've, so why does that happen? That's my big question, is why. But anyways, I'm not sure how much I'm going to continue with the channeling because of what you just said. And I'm going to paraphrase Kevin Can when he said, because I love when he said this, it was great. He's like, I'd be cautious about picking up that phone and making a long distance phone call to anyone who's going to answer. And when he said that, I was just like, oh yeah, damn, that's a good. Well said, man. And that's the exact reason why I'm not sure. Like, on one hand, I'm of the belief or opinion that, yeah, I am nothing but pure positive love and light, and I'm only going to attract that. But on the other hand, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that there are not just positive forces in this world. There are negative forces in this world. And, I don't know what to think about the coincidence of our channel getting attacked right when I'm exploring really deeply into this. I'm going to call it esoteric stuff, right? I'm not going to say spiritual stuff. Definitely it's not religious. But anywho, I feel like I'm just babbling on and on here.
No, this makes complete sense to me. Also, I'm a Whitley fan, so that's why I keep bringing him up. He also talks about how the phenomena will reflect back your own consciousness to you, so whatever state you're in. And it's like that motif I've referenced before in Star Wars, where Yoda sends Luke into the cave, and his own fears are reflected back to him. He strikes down Darth Vader, and it's him, as you see, when the mask comes off, it's Luke there. Now, that makes no sense when you're a kid watching that show. Further down the track, it makes all kinds of sense to me.
Okay, so it's weird how, I don't know, I can't say we've come full circle, right? But we've definitely, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Suddenly I'm at a loss for words.
Okay, well, there's more to come. I'm still interested in the topic, because it's very broad, and I'm still interested in talking to people, and just cautiously, maybe it will be a bit controversial. with some of the guests. And I don't mind you picking me up on things, Mike. If you think things I'm talking about are nonsense, please pick me up on it or challenge me on it, because that's part of it. We're growing together. We're exploring together.
Awesome. I will definitely keep that in mind. And don't forget you said that. No, I'm just kidding. Well, that's part of the thing, too. I think a lot of people in general potentially sort of walk on eggshells. Like, nobody wants to, and of course, like, nobody wants to piss anybody off. Nobody wants to be an ass, right? But at the same time, we should also not be completely polarizing, because, like, oh my God, you said that one sentence, so now I will not listen to anything you have to say for the rest of your life, and we cannot be friends. Like, give me a break. That is what society has become.
I know. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but in our Australian culture, we will sometimes tease someone a little bit provocatively to see if their ego's in check. So if they're relaxed, they laugh, they give us some, give us some flack back. We're like, you're okay. But if they get triggered, we realize, okay, stay away from that guy because he's got a big ego and he gets triggered easily.
Yeah. You've mentioned that a bunch of times off air, if you will. I don't remember if you said it on, but that's awesome. I love that about you Aussies.
We mean well, but if you can insult us, then we think, okay, you're okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. On one hand, I think everybody feels like they know everything. Everybody wants to be right. Everybody wants to understand stuff. But when you challenge, just to sort of bring this conversation full circle, what I've discovered, without question, is when you challenge someone's belief system, they either shut down or they fight back. But they are not open to, maybe they're not open to anything other than that. It's fight or flight.
Well, I started using that like a calibration method as well. So say you said something upsetting to me, I think, wow, what did that just trigger in me? What hurt from the past was triggered, or why did I feel resistant? So I'd analyze myself. Doesn't mean I'm some sort of Zen master, but at least I would use it to, and maybe a day or two later I'd realize, and then I'd think, okay, when that happens next time, I'll be okay, because I'll be ready for that, and I'll really investigate what was triggered in me.
Well, that's a great thing. And anyone out there listening can use that if you don't already. Like, when you hear stuff that upsets you, there's a reason for it, and it means you have to look into that thing to try to find out, just like what you said. Whereas most people will not do that at all, and they'll act very immature. Like, most people react, and leave it at that. Like, most people react, and that's what they do. They're programmed to do that.
Mike, I got to be honest with you. I still react, okay? But I contemplate, and I try not to. And sometimes I feel bad about it later. So if I snap at someone and then a couple of days later, I'm like, oh, that triggered something in me. And then I chose what I think is a wrong path. I'm going to learn from that. Okay,
well, I do too. But what I meant by that was all day, every day, they just like react to stimuli. Like, right, they don't actually think. They're like pre-programmed biological robots, if you will, because social media has melded them into thinking in such of a way that, like, there's a lot of people who are just automatons and who are, I hate to use the word asleep, it sounds kind of gay, but they're asleep.
You know what I think it is too? Like, they're in constant fight or flight because of the stresses of this world, and the stresses are increasing all the time, I'm sorry to say.
They are. The world is a beautiful place, but when you put humanity into it, it becomes very ugly and dark because humans just want control other humans, and I just don't understand that part of it. Like,
okay, I can feel the Dr. Evil comment coming up next. Let's eliminate the people.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, I don't know, stuff like that. I should probably. If I keep going on that line, I thought I'll get arrested or something.
That's right. I don't know what the answer is, Mike. I don't know what the answer is for the world, for the UAP. I couldn't even tell you what the answer is for this podcast.
The whole world is in a very strange place right now. I can feel it energetically, and it's been for the last several weeks to couple months. It's been more prominent. I've been having dreams that I'm not going to say publicly, but some of the stuff that's happening like today, I already envisioned like a week or two ago. And I said to myself, this is going to happen within a week or two. Not to say I'm not trying to be like prophetic or anything like that. I'm just saying like I'm tuning in to the consciousness of the world or the universe, and stuff is coming through. Now, I'm not special. Anyone can do it. But I'm also cautious. But the idea of some of this stuff that's coming through and then it freaking happens in reality is like, whoa, it's pretty wild.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I had that happen this week too. So something happened and there was a visual aspect to it. And I stared at it for a while and I thought, has this already happened? Why is this image already in my mind? Why does this feel like deja vu? Yeah, I don't get that very often, but this week I had that happen, Mike.
Interesting. Do you know what the French say for deja vu?
What?
Didn't that just happen?
Is that what they say, really?
No. That's a joke. No, because deja vu is French.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I'm just trying to be silly, man, because what I realized, oh, by the way, I had a Kundalini awakening too while I'm at it.
By the way, wow.
I'm serious. I went to a Reiki master and had a session, and for like 4 to 5 days afterwards, my entire, from my tailbone all the way up to the base of my brain was like this tingly, spirally sensation. It was very pleasant and wonderful, and it was amazing, absolutely amazing. So again, more non-physical stuff. Woo, 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 woo. Guess what, folks? It's f***ing real.
Yes.
So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to be belligerent here, Stuart. I'm really not. But
Mike, I think it's going to have to be me, the MUFON investigator, going forward, and you, the Reverend.
Maybe we need to switch places.
Who knows what could happen?
I forgot what I was saying though when I went on a little tangent. Anyways, yeah. So I don't know what comes next. I'm not sure, but yeah.
You know what I like about that, Mike? You're staying open to what's happening. So you're less resistant, I would say. You're not fixed in a position. It's definitely this, Mike. You know, this is 100% what's happening. This is where we're heading. This is what's going to be announced. You're just like, no, I don't know what's coming. And I'm kind of the same. I like that.
Cool, thanks. Maybe we just leave it right there, right? I mean,
all right. Okay, Mike, is this UAP shock jock vibe the way you're going to go forward now with the show?
You know, I don't know, man. I don't know. I've been holding a lot in ever since we started, really. And I don't know.
That's all right.
I mean, this could be, granted, I don't get paid, right? But this could be career ending for
yes.
the investigation side and the podcaster side. But I don't really care. I mean, I hope that it's not, right? But I'm not going to be someone who I'm not. This is the authentic, I've always been authentic, but I've just been in the shell. I'm poking out of the shell. Hello, world.
Wow, I've got to tell you this, Mike, from the bottom of my heart. I'm super impressed. I love this. This is why I do this show with you.
Okay, well, what do you mean you're super impressed? Like,
authentic, no BS. Just let's get down to it. I like that. And that's why I was saying earlier, please call me out on things because I 100%, I trust your judgment. I always say that to you, don't I, behind the scenes, Mike? I trust your judgment. It's been right, like, pretty much all the time.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, if there's people out, like, we're getting to a point where people were reaching out to us, which was great, and then all this weird stuff just happens at the same time. And I'm not going to call anybody out, but there's a couple people who reached out to us that we were interested in talking to, and then they just disappeared. And it was also around the time of the attack of the channel. So I was just like, what the hell's going on? I want to use the F word because, like, that's who I am. I work in development and construction and such like that. So, like, despite the fact that we will wear suits and ties on a regular basis, like, we also drop F-bombs. We're regular people,
Yes.
But I also don't want to be like, saying that every other word. I'm trying to be, because like I gotta, with the idea that the people out there listening, they might have kids. I'm cognizant of that. I'm not trying to be like, I don't want to be the UFO shock jock, I guess. But I do want to
space for that.
Just be like authentic and see what happens.
You know what? When I've watched our shows, the more authentic we are, the more I've enjoyed rewatching them. They got a nice energy.
Excellent.
So 100%, let's go forward with that.
Well, okay, so to go back to what I was saying before, though, like if you're out there and you've got, like, I want to talk to people who don't believe in this. Let's have those conversations. Like someone who doesn't believe in UFOs, someone who doesn't believe in ETs, and allegedly they like to not be called that. But, I was re-listening to our very first Citizen D episode the other day,
yep. Mm-hmm.
And he said that he's like, what you should do is go to the debunking websites, if you will, not the confirmation bias websites, if you really want to learn about something. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Let's have those conversations on this channel. So probably not listening out there, but if you out there are listening who have a contrary view, come on in. Like maybe we'll get a little bit heated. Maybe we'll start yelling at each other. But at the end of the day, as long as we can part as friends, which we have always,
yeah.
I think that would be great.
Well, that's worked for me on my spiritual journey, believe it or not. So when I've talked about some of my spiritual beliefs and someone's challenged me and thought, have you thought of this, Stuart? Have you read this other text? Do you see how this coincides with that? I felt a bit triggered, but then like before, I've gone away and read. I've been like, wow, they were right. Okay, I'll give you an example. In the Sumerian tablets, I was challenged by someone. Some of these Old Testament stories were written thousands of years ago, and they're in the Sumerian tablets. I rejected that for a long time until I finally read for myself, and I saw, what they were telling me was correct. So I've learned from those challenging statements too.
Awesome. Very, very awesome. I guess in a way, it's just like a successful mindset. Like what you're describing is any successful person. Like they're going to think in a certain way or do things in a certain way versus people who just kind of float through life and haven't really awakened yet, if you will. Which there's a hell of a lot more of those folks out there, unfortunately, than there are not.
That's so interesting. I was at a gig recently, and one of the members of the band was saying to me, "Hey, when you spoke to the other guy, I couldn't keep up with you." And I said, "Well, it's amazing when you meet someone," because we spoke about esoteric issues, right? And he was just like, "Wow!" Like I was impressed. He was impressed because we both had a high knowledge of what was going on. So this third person came up to me later and said, "I couldn't keep up with that. I didn't want to jump in because I knew so much less." Now, that's what I like about this show, Mike, and I like talking to you because you got knowledge about these subjects. You understand what's going on. I'm trying to get my thought clear here. So I can talk to people that know nothing about a topic, but it's not very enriching. See, but someone who can come forward and say, I know about this topic and let me challenge you on that. I like that.
Okay, but you can talk to people about this topic who maybe I misheard you, but my interpretation of what you just said was like, it's not very enriching for you. But what about the other side, Stuart? You probably enrich the other side a hell of a lot more than you ever realize.
Oh, that's so interesting. And I try and take it easy if I'm talking about a topic. And I don't mean just UAPs. I mean a spiritual topic. Like you can hit people with everything. So say someone comes to you, Mike, I'll give you an example. It says, hey, is this UFO topic real? Tell me all about it. Where in the heck do you start?
I would say, what do you think it is?
Wow. The Platonic method.
I don't know what that is. I mean, I've heard of it, but yeah, I'm an idiot.
I know, beg your pardon, not Platonic, Socratic. So Socrates used to ask questions. That's called the Socratic method, yeah. So
okay, somehow I knew what you were talking about, but...
That's what Socrates would do. He'd ask questions to get the person thinking about the topic. Very interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean... To open up that conversation, you have to get an idea of where the other person is. Otherwise, like if you start talking about psionics right away, you might be in their niche, or they might be like, "What is this?" Like, "Whoa, that's not what I thought." So you gotta, you have to understand where the other side is as well. But anyway,
yeah. Or you can try like a timeline approach. Now, this thing happened back at Roswell. We'll start there. Oh, and bore them. Who knows? Yeah, you better asking a calibrating question like what?
That is awesome, and bore them. No, because what I was talking about earlier to making the presentation, as it were, it would actually start in 1898, I think it was. Right. But I would only take like 5 to 10 minutes to go from 1898 to 2026. Really quickly go through it all. But yeah, you just made me laugh. Like, okay, note to self: don't waste your time on that project. It's not going to be
It'd be like an alien download. They'd be like, okay.
Oh my gosh. I don't know, but so I think I started something and forgot to say. The main thing is like have more. Well, here's what I've discovered too: the UFO people tend to be very, very serious all the time, right, and a little bit on the dark negative side. And the spiritual people are like always happy and lovey-dovey, yada yada. I mean, I like to think that I'm somewhere in between both of those, but I've observed. Okay, I've observed that there's two paradigms, as it were, and within those two paradigms, individually, like the spiritual aspect or the UFO aspect or the nuts and bolts, whatever you want to call it, each one of those individually has all kinds of infighting and like immaturity and like everyone difference of opinions. And
that's
it's just
right.
Like, we're never gonna get anywhere, ever.
Yes,
like.
Yeah. Reverend David William Parry's talked about that when he's been on our show too, about church politics. Yeah, it's even within that. Even within the one church, there are people fighting over things.
So, like, we've honestly, dude, we've nailed it from the start. You nailed it from the start, Stuart. You said that this is an individual journey. And it's like if the disclosure should actually happen, that's like cheating on a test. Those were your words. You said it in the day one. It's just as true now, and you made me a believer.
Oh, wow. Wow, thank you, Mike. Wow, okay, so I'm just sharing what I've learnt and what my perspective is, so that's very interesting. Thank you. Okay, so is that the end of the show forever?
Honestly, man, it might be. I mean, go on the journey with us. Listen to all 68 episodes that we've broken out into different seasons. And see what happens. Like, and chances are the wild thing, Stuart, is if for the few people who would actually do that, they're all going to end up in a different spot.
Yeah,
that is what's fucking amazing about this topic, is because the answer isn't the same. It's different for every individual person, but you're only going to get there when you go on the individual journey.
What an interesting paradox.
Boom.
All right.
Thank you,
Very
folks.
Good.
Have a nice life, right?
Thank you for having been on this journey with us. See, past tense now. Many blessings.
No, I mean, we jest. Maybe we'll talk in the future. Maybe we won't. But, like, I really do feel like we're at a natural ending point of sorts. And I wanted to say that for the people there. I do know there's probably a good 500 plus people who I know actually tune into every thing that we put out there. So we love you all. Thank you so much. And you know what? If you are bummed out that we might not be back, reach out to us. And if we have enough people reaching out, then maybe we'll keep going.
Okay, Mike, I'm zen about this. I've loved what we've done. I'm happy to continue or maybe take a long break or whatever, I'm just happy to go where the energies are leading us.
Likewise. So we're not saying we're fully done, and we're not promising to come back either. This is kind of, I don't know, honestly, it feels weird, but it feels right all at the same time, because we're putting out the authenticity of what this channel truly is.
Yeah. I've told you before, I see this as part of my ministry, really. And, if it's leading in this way, I'll do it. If it's not, I'll move on. But that's fine, and I've loved doing this with you, and I'm going to love continuing to do this with you if we go down that pathway. So either is fine.
Only time will tell, but one thing is for certain, you and I, man, we are going to be talking on the regular like we have been privately, because this has been... It's really freaking fascinating, is what it is. I mean, there's a couple zingers in there, absolutely, that I'm pretty damn proud came out of my mouth, if I must say so myself.
Yes. Fantastic.
So, in any event, Stuart, would you like to close out the conversation?
Thank you for having joined us on this amazing journey, and that journey will continue, and we'll be there if you want to continue. Thank you, Mike. Much love and many blessings to you for being on this journey with me. And
absolutely.
I don't know how to leave it. Just, I guess, take care.
Until we meet again.